Well, let's
I'm
talk
trying
about
to be
our
nice.
next
No,
two
no,
guests.
no.
Yes.
We are going to be gracious. We're
No,
going to be.
I
We're
don't
all
know.
winners today. We're all winners today. Would you care to do the honors? Liz?
I
Go
would
ahead.
care to do the honors, as a matter of fact. I find it both ironic and planned, like somebody's poking fun at me, that the last guest was the people who donated the Louis Vuitton bags, and the next guest is the guy who won it.
Everything is coming together
It's
as
like
I have foreseen.
Vicious circle of life.
It's a vicious circle of life. And actually, what's funny now, both Lance, Gordon, and Justin Frey.
Yeah, you
Frey.
got it.
Frey, okay.
First time I've ever had my name pronounced correct.
Well, I'm much smarter than most people. Justin, they're both with
Except
Terrier.
when it comes to buying tickets.
I didn't buy enough. The Terrier Transportation, they're the DFW regional manager, and Justin is the director of operations with RB Stewart Petroleum Products. So both joining us to go hand in hand. We'll talk about why. But before we get there, I'm going to say this jokingly, and then there's also a serious reason we're going back to it. So Lance Gordon was actually when I was signing up and figuring out how many tickets I was buying when you were too, and you said, "Oh, we're going to be on your show tomorrow," and I said, "Great," and we formed this lovely connection. Little did I know that later he was the one that would rip my soul apart.
How many tickets did you buy? I'm gonna buy
How many
more.
tickets did you buy? You might not want to say.
3.
He bought way less than me, and he won both.
Back-to-back jacks.
He won not only the Louis Vuitton bag, but first of all, you won the s'mores.
S'mores, yes.
S'mores. Okay, so let's just talk about quickly. Where are you going to use the big s'mores package?
I have no idea.
Do you have a fire pit at home?
I do have a fire pit,
Okay.
but they also came with a fondue chocolate fountain. So
That's amazing. You're going to have a party, first of all. And now, are you going to be the one traveling with the Louis Vuitton roller bag, or are you gifting
Absolutely
that
not.
to somebody?
That is going to be my wife all the way.
And
She's
can I
been
have her
waiting for
room
this.
number?
I
By any
cannot
chance?
give that away.
Okay, fine. Well, congratulations.
Thank
And the good news, in all seriousness, all the money that went into all the tickets that were sold. It's why I don't feel terrible that I didn't win, because I know that my money and yours and everybody else's went to the TXTA Foundation, which is doing
Absolutely.
good things and getting drivers into. So, okay, we can be friends again.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
actually delighted you didn't win because it has given me actually 3.5 hours of spectacular
I know.
callback content.
I know.
We started this conversation yesterday with John at the top of the entire coverage of TXTA.
John Esparza, the president of
That
TXTA.
dude, righteous man in a righteous land called Texas. The emerging leadership. Let's kind of talk about that for a second too, because one of the things that TXTA has figured out, and trucking to some degree has figured out, a lot of businesses haven't figured this out. It's a problem in politics too. How do we groom the next generation? And I say that if you don't groom the people you'd like to see replace you, someone will replace you, and you're not going to like who it is, whether it is a small little rotten borough in Georgia or the island of Manhattan. If you don't like what's coming, you need to make sure the people who are coming up next stop that from happening. There is a kind of negative positivity to it. But it's also about continuing tradition. Could you both talk about, and we'll start with you, Lance, after having been chastised for the last minute or so.
Fair enough.
To talk
I'm open
about
to it.
being an emerging leader and what that means and why that's so important.
So with the industry, within the industry, we have a lot of needs and requirements from all the way drivers, mechanics, trade school, education needs to be brought up. As the ELC, is focused on education, going to schools, getting kids involved, high school, middle school, and even elementary. All the way from touch a truck to, getting kids in, but getting them involved is the most important
Make
thing.
trucking cool again.
Be a mentor,
Yeah.
be mentored, link on to somebody that's going to help you throughout the industry. That's what the ELC kind of gets. Give you between networking and just giving yourself that education and that opportunity within the industry. So
One of the big things you have to fight, whether it's at a vocational school, a college, late in high school, is I don't want to call it a culture war because that's got all kinds of baggage that I'm not trying to imply here. But the idea is that trucking is a culture, and it's not just a culture because that's the way it is. some of it has to be that way. In order to kind of do the job and do it well, you've got to be kind of enculturated into the culture. Can you talk a little bit about that, by the way? Can you kind of break down the idea that how do we make high school students, how do we make incoming folks in college, how do we make people who are 25, 30 years old understand that this culture is different but an attractive one from a job perspective, and then talk about your own understanding of what you think your age bracket brings in. And by the way, I'm usually going to tell how old people are. I can't tell how old these guys are. But can you talk a little bit about that?
If you had to guess, you'd probably say I'm a lot younger, but
I understand.
late 30s.
That makes sense, actually. No, that puts 20. I got 20 on you. That's all good.
Shave my beard, I'd look 12. So.
I understand.
Baby face.
I understand. But can you talk a little bit about that? About how we, how do we not indoctrinate? How do we get people to understand that if you're going to come into this profession, either in the supply chain or behind the wheel, how do we, that this is a different culture while making room for new ideas and new processes?
Well, I think the industry as a whole, and TXTA does a really good job with this, but we're trying to just improve upon it. We don't do a good job of explaining that this is a good career path, right? I'm director of operations now, but I started as a driver. Still have a CDL. And one of the things that I loved was that my company gave me advancement opportunities. I didn't have to drive forever if I didn't want to. And they invested, like you talked about. If you're not happy about what's coming, you better get ready to start grooming those people so that what's coming is going to be continue the legacy of your carrier and your industry. But if we do a better job of getting in front of people, there's a lot of kids coming out of high school that say, I don't want to go to college, right? It's not really for me. I mean, college is great. I certainly want my doctor to have a college degree and go to medical school, but there's just some people, and I was one of them. I didn't enjoy college, right? I didn't want to do that. And truck driving.
I don't need my trucker to go to the fraternity party.
Right.
It's fine if he wants to skip that.
Exactly. So I think if we do a better job of that, that's everything for the industry. So that's something I'm personally real passionate about. So is ELC. One of our core initiatives this year is to get in front of more career days and kids at the high school level, whether that's talking about just distracted driving or finding that one kid that, hey, you don't want to go to college. There's a lot of opportunity, particularly in Texas, for intrastate coming right out the gate. Go to CDL school. TXTA Foundation does a lot of good stuff with that. Diesel mechanics, right? If you've tried to find one of those lately, a good one. It's hard to find.
And I've had to hold my tongue on a couple of occasions. People drop the word
rarely.
driver shortage on me, and I kind of cringe. I have different feelings. The one place I am eye to eye with everybody on, diesel mechanics.
Right.
It's a genuine, there's no argument. That is growing, and it's a problem because the institutional knowledge isn't being passed on either.
Correct.
And it's going to become a real issue in about 10 years. Then we're looking down the barrel of a real problem. The thing is, I don't know if you've seen this, where there are now high school programs where the kids spend half the day in a supply chain program, and it's actually improved their English grades. It's improved their math scores because they're told, if you like being here, if you don't know this stuff, you can't learn that stuff. That's another problem we're talking about here. The people who don't want to go to college need to be impressed upon the fact that you still got to know math and you still got to know English,
right.
Especially now. So how far can we press in? How far can the emerging leaders press in, say, getting ahead of stuff with career days? How far back do we need to start to make people understand this is a good career?
I say you need to start from the elementary level. Kids.
I'm with you, Lance.
From when I was a child, touch a truck events have been going on in various ways. I remember, seeing the fire trucks, tooting the horn, asking them, looking at the hoses. That was the biggest thing. I remember that from 4 or 5 years old. So if you can make an impression on a child, I remember wanting to, see the open highway and see the country, and that was one of my dreams as a little kid. I may have not developed the full aspect of that, but my family has been in trucking, whether it's supply chain or actual trucking, one way or the other. I got dragged into this industry unexpectedly, and I have fallen in love with it. So you don't know when you're going to fall in love with something and kind of find your niche or something that you're passionate about until you kind of come across it. It's one of those things that kind of develop throughout your life.
It's a beautiful, and I think in some kind of ways, and it sometimes depends on who raised you. but sometimes we get in the way of, and I try to be I have a 6-year-old, so I try to be very aware of, I don't want to get in the way of her dreams. I mean, I know there's a lot of people are like, that's cool, you love that, but also what are you really going to do? There's a lot of that sometimes going on. And I think, and Justin, what you said a minute ago, you're like, I was a driver, driver first, then company, and now you're, on the ELC committee trying to mold those things. So it sounds like you, Lance, you did have that vision and that dream of trucking. Justin, did you know when you got your CDL, did you think you were going to be a career driver, or did you know that was for you to learn the stepping stone so you could learn the business?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. At the time, it was 2008. I just sold a small business that I had and didn't know what I was going to do. And my brother was a driver, and he was doing food service, and he said, hey, we drove big tractors on the farm. Come on up, they'll teach you. And in 2008, not a lot of job opportunities. We're going to make 60, 70 grand. Hey, I'm all about it. So to answer your question, no, I don't think I did view that as a career path for forever. It was a stepping stone. Kind of got in my blood. I really enjoyed it. But I kind of got bored after a while, kind of out there on the open road, my mind wondering, what else can I do to help?
And you saw it, you lived it, so now both of you being on the ELC, and I have a question, but before that, it's very interesting to me that because listen, the CEO of Pizza Hut, he flipped the dough, like that was important to him, and he makes sure that I know this because my sister was in marketing for Pizza Hut and Yum Brands. She had to go do everything. They have to delivery drive for a day. Like, you have to see those things, and you can't. This comes back to you guys too. You can't sit in a corporate office and tell a truck driver what it's like to be on the road if you don't know. So you both have that. So when it comes down, and I'll ask you both this, when it comes down for the emerging leaders, are there different focuses that you have that you get to be like as president or vice chair or whatever? Like, I want to focus on education, and maybe you want to focus on reform. Is that a piece of it?
So there is a piece of that in every aspect. So tort reform and championing for the TXTA, what they do at the Senate level and the House representatives, that's very important for what we do on the industry side. But to get people involved is another side on education. So as the ELC, we get into a meeting and we decide, what is going to be our focus. And to keep it simple, so to speak, you focus on 1 to 2 things that you can be successful at.
You mean you as a person, or you as the ELC that
as
year
the ELC
as a whole?
Group as a whole, as
Reagan's
a class.
Reagan's big picture. Guys, I got to do this to you. I hate to do it. We're going to find more time to get you guys back on the show at some point. We're going to have you guys come on Nemo Nation. You both have great stories to tell, and Lindsay and I would love to have you on Road Gang Radio.
I'd love to have you come
it.
on. I'd love for you to bring the Louis Vuitton bag with you. We'll just, we'll just maybe take turns. I don't know. Just introduce me
Lance,
to your
I will
wife.
simply quote the gospel and say, go and sin no more. You've been given a little bit of grace by this lady here. It's a pleasure to meet both of you. Promise me we'll make time. Tell us your website.
www.terriertran.com.
Justin, go ahead.
RBS Fuel, singular, rbsfuel.com.
Thank you both very much. Have the best of days. It was really a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for the time. Thank y'all for letting us join y'all.
Oh,
Thanks
you
for
got it.
having
And
us
we're going to
on.
have you back
Appreciate
on. We
it.
have your
All right.
contact
We'll have you back.
information.
Thanks for nothing,
Take care.
Lance. Appreciate it. Nah, just kidding. Thank you. All good fun. We're all having a good time.
Everybody's
Yeah,
having a good
we're
time,
having a good time.
Brian.